What is up, Sooner Nation? I am Casey Mallon, and you are now in a Sooner state of mind. Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcast and Spotify. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest. Pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200K. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Bet online, the game starts here. On today's show, we talk about the shit show that was tonight's game, the Sooners' escape, the major upset at the paws of the Houston Cougars, surviving 16-12, and it was kind of closer than that final score, which was really close. LaCroix, if you're watching, we're listening. Sooner Nation, got 2 reasons why I cry away each lonely night. But as for now, I am emotionally drained. I wasn't expecting to get put through the ringer like that until later on in the season. And now I'm feeling a lot worse about what lies ahead. That being said, the Sooners found a way to win a game they had no business winning. They had no juice tonight, and it felt like they thought they could just show up, and that was all they had to do. Too bad no one told Willie, Ftiz, and the Cougars, because those cats showed up ready to play tonight. And they were really Danny Stutzman, Jake Roberts, a Lewis Carter, and a Gracen Halton away from losing as a 27.5-point favorite. Can you imagine? Now, I did think we were going to get a much better effort from the Coogs after the way they lost to UNLV last week. I just never thought it would be close enough to beat the caliber of team I thought these Sooners were. But the Sooners might have thought that too. But it was just not clicking tonight, offensively anyways. Because how could a team looking that good in that throwback Bud Wilkinson drip play so bad? Inquiring minds want to know. After an unimpressive 3-and-out on their opening possession, the Sooners did catch a major break. Luke Elzinga, who did have a good but way too busy night, banged a 54-yard punt. Muse, the returner for Houston, let the punt bounce. It looked like it grazed his hand. Lewis Carter jumps on it, who had an amazing game. Lewis Carter was outstanding. He jumped on it. Sooners ball. After further review, though, I thought for sure this thing was going to get turned over because I didn't actually see it graze his hand. Maybe it was too close for them to change. You couldn't say definitively one way or the other, but I did think it was going to get overturned. But it did not. Sooners keep the ball. Very next play, JFA to Brennan Thompson, 10-yard touchdown. And this dude flashes almost every game, but it's just like a hint here and there. We need more consistency, especially with the way the receiving core is right now. Got to find a way to get this guy more involved because he's shown he can be dynamic, but we need more of that. And so getting that touchdown tonight and a couple other catches, hopefully he and Arnold can build off that connection. It just needs work, as this whole offense does, but especially that. Either way, it's a quick touchdown. Sooners up early. The route is on. Easy breezy onto Tulane. Wrong. Dude, thank God for Danny Stutzman. Dude was on full Stutz display tonight, blowing plays up left and right. Studs led all players in the game with 15 tackles, 12 of those bad boys solo, 1 TFL. Just an incredible game. He was everywhere. Awesome. Just a great performance. No, it was not great. our run game. The Sooners cannot run the football. Now, I know it's a mass unit up front, but I watched almost every other team being able to run the ball effectively, or at least a little bit. Well, not Houston. They could not run against our Sooners. And that was the one thing the Sooners did well in this game, was stop the run. But even so, Houston's longest run of the night went for 16 yards. OU's longest run went for 13. And that was Javonte Barnes' second run of the night. It was in the first quarter. You're supposed to get longer, better runs late in the game. You're supposed to wear those guys down and really get that run game going. And they didn't, and it's just not good enough. And it's definitely not going to be good enough to beat better teams. We had our hands full tonight, and it's only going to get harder. And even with Studs playing like a methed out Sasquatch, the Coogs get bailed out with a shite PI call on Woody Washington. Terrible. Kept the drive going. I really hated that call. The receiver had fallen down, got back up, whatever. There's crap calls in every game. The drive does stall out after Demonic Williams' sack forced him to a field goal. And this is a team that couldn't score on UNLV until their final minute of the fourth quarter last week. They're putting up points against our Sooners in the first quarter on their first possession. I'm not liking that. And it ended up being a 12-play, 63-yard, 8.5-minute drive. The Cougs possessed the ball for over 35 minutes in this game, and they did a great job of clock gobbling. I was worried I was going to mess that up and have to start the show over, but that's why I lift all them weights in the summer. That's why you do all that stuff, to be ready for when the season's here. Anyways, back to the second quarter. Both teams exchange punts. That was another thing. A lot of muffed punts by both teams. Even Billy Bowman, the dude that does it all, he had some very precarious catches on some punts. It was sketchy all night. Even late on some fair catches. I don't know if it was windy out. I don't know what's going on, but it was not good. But either way, a couple muffs. Bowen had one too. Obviously, the Houston returners as well. Sooners only had 4 drives of 6 plays or more in the entire game. One of those coming in the second quarter. Sooners with a 3rd and 2. Hard play action. Selling that run. JFA to Jake, the Dread Pirate Robert, all your worst nightmares are about to be true. It's an 11-yard TD catch. Sooners up 14-3. I'm not sure the Sooners had 2 TD catches by the tight ends all of last year. This year, though, through 2 games, there they have 2. And that's at least something positive to build on. I could use more Sharp and Roberts on the field at the same time, too. Hopefully we get into some of that a little further down the road. Either way, we're feeling pretty good. After that Roberts touchdown, the teams combined for 6 punts. Houston goes on a 6-play, 55-yard drive that ends with a 44-yard field goal. They go into halftime only down 14-3. This was the problem that we had with the offense last week. Just sputtered. Didn't do a lot, especially in the third quarter last week. Would that be an ominous sign of things to come for the third quarter of this game? TBD. After the Sooners scored their second touchdown, their next 3 drives only netted 29 yards. This offense is in total disarray. But we were still feeling pretty good about things because of the defense. And, of course, it was only a matter of time until the offense gets going, right? Wrong. Third quarter, OU defense picking up right where they left off. Woody Washington with an INT. Oh, I meant a would-be INT. Refs throw a flag for PI, one of many crap calls in the game. I thought both players were kind of hand fighting on the way down. The guy actually had Woody's arm. He went up one-armed and pulled that thing in. But the Zebras in there wiped it out. and Houston would make the Sooners pay. The very next play, a busted coverage, a wide open, and I mean wide open, Joseph Manjack the fourth. The third, the second, the first might have been open too. There was nobody around this guy. Okay? He walks in on the end of that 44-yard touchdown. 14-12, Coogs going for two. Not gonna do it. Nonetheless, dude, we're in the third quarter, and the Sooners are only up 14-12. And I've seen nothing from the offense that makes me feel like it's getting going. But that was until the ensuing Sooners possession. Okay, looks like this offense is finally coming to life, working on a 9-play drive. Oops, I just jinxed us. On number 9, the 9th play, 1st and 10 from the Houston 41. JFA over the top. No. That dude that he threw it to plays for Houston. It's an INT, and the Cougs take over inside their own 5. Starting to run some of those doom scenarios in my mind. I see where this thing is going. I'm not digging it. I need some Sooner validation. Didn't get any. More punts by both teams. Fourth quarter, Sooners just grasping to a 2-point lead. And what was clear at this point is one team was playing inspired football and one team was not. And you can guess who is who. Although also at this point, both Lewis Carter and Danny Stutzman have been playing lights out. Those cats were awesome all night long, kept seeing them make plays. And the defense was really good in this game. I shouldn't throw them under the bus with the offense. They were outstanding and kept the Sooners in this game. But they still needed someone to make a play. And that someone was RSJ. Robert Spears Jennings made a great read, came over, made a great play. It's an interception. Sooners take over at the Houston 21. Finally, let's run this ball down their freaking throats and put this game away once and for all. Wrong. Guess what it is, though? Another 3rd and long for these Sooners. 1 of 12 last week, 4 of 14 this week. So I think you know where this is going. Well, they didn't convert, but at least it's going to be 3 for the Sooners. Tyler Keltner has been money until now. He missed it. And now those dark thoughts are taking over. It's really starting to feel like an L, a painful L, very painful, especially knowing who and what is on our schedule. It's not getting easier. It's not getting better. There is no help on the way. But the Sooners D comes up big yet again, gets a stop, and 3 or 4 first downs, and the Sooners can ice this thing. But the way this game has gone, you just know that ain't going to happen. At least when they do punt again. At least it was a 51-yarder. 1 of 8 Luke Elzinga's punts that were down. 5 of those bad boys were down inside the 20. 8 punts. I guess we really are trying to get this dude the Ray Guy Award. Anyways, great punt. But what I'm not liking about this is Houston has 1:42 and all 3 timeouts left. And the Sooners holding on to a 2-point lead. You know what happens here. They drive down, they kick the field goal with no time left on the clock. Game over, man. Well, that's when Gracen Halton showed up. He put a Halton to the Houston upset bid because Gracen cuts through that line. S-S-S-S-A-Y-Y-Y-Y-Y-Y. Say safety dance. I really did that whole thing. I thought about bailing out after the S and the A because you kind of knew where it was going, but I stuck with the bit. That's what we do here, people. Dude comes up huge. Halton with the safety. The Sooners only point since the first quarter. but maybe the two biggest. Halton, back-to-back outstanding games. He really flashed last week, and when we absolutely had to have something this week, he comes through. So I think the trajectory on this guy is going up, and I'm stoked for him and starting to get these Stoke levels rising a little bit because Sooners still need just to get a first down. Houston's got about 1:42 left in all three timeouts. One first down, and we can ice this bad boy. 2nd and 8. JFA, not the Inigo Montoya, not the Fezzik, not the Vizzini. Inconceivable. It's the Dread Pirate Roberts for the first down. Made a great play on a throw that was behind him. Sooners can pretty much run this clock down to about 8 seconds and then punt. Why would it be that easy? Not tonight, baby. JFA is going to take a knee. He backs up. He waits a minute. Then he finally goes down. He gets blasted by one of the Cougar defenders. Javante Barnes doesn't like it. Josh Bates doesn't like it. He's exploding, which is fine. You protect your quarterback, but he rips off his own helmet. Bates takes off his helmet. And you know what that does? It stops the freaking clock. That's a donk move, bro. I know he was protecting his quarterback. I know that's a big dude and gets heated. Can't take off your helmet. You just can't do it. You can't have mental lapses at that point in a game. Just frustrating. So with the clock stopped, the Sooners are forced to punt. Instead of being like about 8 seconds, Houston has just under 40. Get a couple plays, move it forward. Final play of the game. Guess who's on the tackle? Stutz. Sooners hold on. They do escape with the win. And it doesn't feel good. But it does feel much better than losing. And I know there's going to be some growing pains with Jackson Arnold, of course. But where this team is right now, he's not good enough to overcome all the deficiency they have. They can't run the ball. And we thought receiver was going to be a strength of this team. And so far with the injuries, it's been anything but. It's Deion Burks, and that's it. Brendan Thompson's had a couple catches here and there, but all those other cats are young. All the vets are out hurt. Defense has been awesome. Defense has been outstanding. But the offense, it's just not there. And these, I know Houston was coming out to play ball tonight because they were so pissed. And Temple is actually pretty good on defense. I mean, the offense turned it over 5 times. We scored 1 on a fumbled punt. So the defense held pretty well considering the situation they were in. But offensively, it's baffling to me that we cannot run the ball. I mean, we can't really pass either. 249 total yards. Something's got to change. We got to get healthy up front. I know that. And we got to get healthy at the receiving position. I know that. But I'm worried, dude. I was reserving that worry for conference play, but we got Tulane, who looked much better against the solid Kansas State team today. They looked better than we did, I'll tell you that, against a good team. So, I know Houston's not considered a great team, and they did play really well, good inspired football tonight. But this is OU, baby. Blue blood. One of the best. They got to start acting like it. It's not good enough. There's still too much talent and skill on this squad for it to be what we saw tonight. And I don't want to keep hitting the injuries, but They got to figure it out, dude. I mean, we're having to burn through way too much of that Sooner magic. It's week 2. You need to save that for later on, but I mean, I guess it does no good sitting in your pocket, but still. BV after the game said, "We did enough things wrong. We deserve to lose. We were fortunate to find a way to win. Overall, our body of work on offense, not very good today. I'm really proud of the guys that stepped up when they had an opportunity." I mean, overall, it's a win, right? Jackson Arnold, who's been hit way too much. He was sacked 3 times tonight, only 19 to 32, 174 yards, an interception, 11 carries for 40 yards. Added a little perspective. A win is a win no matter how ugly it was. And believe me, it was ugly, but we'll take it. I mean, in the past, we've said we do not apologize for wins, but not having a lot of feel good about this. So it's hard not to live and die week to week, but this team needs to improve dramatically. But we did win, and it could be worse. We could be Notre Dame tonight. How are they feeling? Inexplicably, other than it's football, Notre Dame loses at home to Northern Illinois. Are you kidding me? 16-14 in front of a weeping touchdown Jesus. Plenty of blame to go around. But Riley Leonard, dude, 20 of 32, 163, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Luckily for the Domers, it's a 12-team playoff, so they still have a chance to regroup and recover, and they still have a very favorable schedule, although that's what we thought going into this week. So, I don't know. They are at Purdue next week. Some more bad news. You thought I was done? No, got plenty more. Texas went into the big house and demolished Michigan. Now, this is a Michigan team with no JJ, no Corum, no Harbs, no Jesse Minner. That's just going to make those Horns with a W even more insufferable. Oh, we went to Bama last year and won. Oh, we went to Michigan this year and won. Even though we smoked those turkeys last year, I really can't worry about those butt nuggets right now. I've got Tulane to think about, which I never thought I would have to deal with this early on in the season, but that's where we're at. 2 games that did bring me joy today: Arkansas at Okie State and Boise State at Oregon. Looked like Pig Suey was going to run wild on them Pokes, but they hog-tied those backs in double overtime after being down double digits. And at this point, you would have to say little brother looks better than us too, except for that ugly-ass orange color of their dumb QR code-free uniforms. They're 2-0. Boise State at Oregon. The Ducks were down, but not out in a back-and-forth slugfest with multiple return touchdowns. Dan Lanning's Quackers hold on, 37-34. I got to give it up, though, to Ashton Genty, dude. For Boise State, that is a bad mofo. Tonight, 25, 192, 3 touchdowns, including a 70-yarder where he just outran all those athletes wearing the Nike shoes. Burned them. But it just wasn't enough. How about a little dime time? Game tied. DG led an 11-play, 61-yard drive that culminated in a 25-yard walk-off Atticus Sappington field goal. That's a fun name. Atticus Sappington. Well, as far as our Sooners go, we live to fight again. And as bad as tonight was, every single goal we have is still right in front of us. Nothing's changed. It's just not looked like we want it to look. It's not as been as productive as we want it or need it. Still have time to figure it out, but tonight should be a wake-up call to everybody on that team. So still time to get it right. I still love this team like no one's business, but we have high expectations and they're too good to play like they did tonight. So, but maybe that's going to be a good thing overall, a great learning experience early on. And maybe we get healthy up front and at receiver, and maybe some of those dudes would have gone tonight if BV and company knew how much of a struggle this game was going to be. But either way, we got out with that W. Like I said, it's exponentially better than an L. And BV gets to rip these cats a new one while they are still undefeated. So we'll take it. And clearly this team will be much better later in the year than it is now. But it's got to be much better or it's going to be a long, long season. Because we're in the SEC now where it just means more. Have you guys heard? It just means more. Either way, though, when we wake up tomorrow, it's week 1 of the NFL, and that is a good thing. And if you are into the NFL too, make sure you check out the Trend Zone, also available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Music, wherever the hell you get your podcasts. And just like Sooner State of Mind, like and subscribe on Apple and Spotify. And you do not miss any of the good stuff. Also, head on over to Believe.com. That's BLEAV.com. Go to shows, type in Sooner State of Mind, and you are locked, my friends. We have a ton of great content. Every team, every topic, everywhere. Believe.com. And if you would like to watch Sooner State of Mind, head on over to YouTube and search the Football Dudes. We are there. All right, baby. We regroup and we come back. We will preview the Tulane game and all of the week 3 action coming up. But for now, that is going to do it. Sooner State of Mind is brought to you by Bet Online. My name is Casey Mallon, and I am always and forever in a Sooner State of Mind. 2-0. Don't forget.